Ready, children? Today we are going to start the new unit is called genetics. In the previous class, we had discussed about reproduction in plants. Now we are going to enter into the new difficult topics. Difficult unit is called genetics. The genetics is having two chapters. They are classical genetics and chromosomal basis of inheritance. Both the chapters are difficult, but if you listen very carefully, if you observe the class properly, then immediately after observation, if you learn, if you read, if you study well, then this lesson might be easy. Especially what I am going to teach today. This part is basic for the genetics. So you just listen very carefully. I am not going to use the board or screen frequently because this is a basic concept I want to tell you. First of all, we are going to discuss about the title. What is a title? It deals with about genetics. Classical genetics. What is really classical? Classical means traditional or old. Genetics means it is a study of science which deals with transferring the character or study of inheritance. So the study of inheritance in a traditional method is called as classical genetics. This classical genetics is based on Gregor John Mendelism. Okay, what is genetics? Genetics is defined. It is a branch of science or it is a branch of biological science which deals with transferring of characters or traits from parents to the offspring or one generation to the next generation. So this is called as genetics. You might have seen that. Some of the plants are resembled with the same group. If you see, some of the ducks are being same group. Some of the sheep are being the same group. Some of the animals are being in the same group. Even human beings are in the same group, which are almost similar. How they are looking similar? They are coming from their parents. So the characters are transferred from their parents. How these characters are transferred? There is a specialized factors which is responsible. That specialized factor is called gene. So gene is a factor which is responsible for transferring the character from parents to the offspring or one generation to the next generation. So this is the study which deals with transferring of the characters from one generation to the other generation. This was first termed by W. Batson in 1906. Actually, the detailed study of genetics have been subdivided into some major subdisciplines like classical genetics, molecular genetics, population genetics, quantitative genetics. These are the four major subdisciplines of genetics. Classical genetics is nothing but transmission genetics. So classical genetics are also called as transmission genetics. This classical genetics which deals with transferring of the character or mechanism of transferring of the character from one generation to the next generation. This is completely broadly based on the deep experiments of hybridization techniques which have been done by Gregor John Mendel. So it is based on Mendelism. Next subdiscipline is molecular genetics. Molecular genetics which deals with structure and functions of gene in molecular level. The third category is called population genetics. Population genetics which deals with it is hereditary of the groups of individuals for a trait which will be determined by few genes. So few genes will be determined the characteristic features of the hereditary. This is called population genetics. Next one is quantitative genetics. Quantitative genetics which deals with the hereditary of groups of individuals of the traits which will be determined by more number of genes simultaneously. So these are the four disciplines. They are classical genetics, molecular genetics, population genetics, and quantitative genetics. Okay, how these genetics are depends. This depends upon similarities and differences among the parents and offspring. If you see, brothers and sisters will be resembled with their parents, either of the parents, either male parent or female parent. How the characteristic features are resembled? What do you mean by characteristic features? Hair color, eyes shapes, skin color, nose shape, ear shape, each and every parts of our body, each and every characteristic features of our body, which will be determined by, there is a factor. That factor is called gene. If the gene is coming from our parent, we will be resembled. So similarities will be more. If there is any recombination of genes between father and mother during cross-pollination, during meiosis, crossing over might be occurred during meiosis period. Here recombination of genes might be takes place. So the characters might be different. The characters might be new. So in such occasion, even though we are beings very similar or resemble with each other, if a careful observation reveals that some differences might be there. So this is called variation. So next concept is heredity and variation. The genetics is broadly described, it survives with heredity and variation. What is heredity? Heredity is nothing but transmission of characters from parents to the offspring. Then what is variation? Variation is nothing but, even among the same population, even among the same species, if you observe very carefully, some differences might be observed. These differences are called variations. These differences or these variations are broadly classified into two types. They are discontinuous variation and continuous variation. What is meant by discontinuous variation? So discontinuous variations will be determined by genes of a parent, and that will be transferred to the offspring. These discontinuous variations is entirely different. That means within the same species of plant, for example, Pisum sativum plant, it is a pea plant. Some of the plants are very tall plant. Some of the Pisum plants are very dwarf. So same species, Pisum sativum only, but plants are different. So this is contrasting. That means this variation might be there. This variation is, there is no interlink. These are completely segregated. So there is no graduation. There is no gradual change. This is the discrete variation. Similarly, if you see in the previous lessons we had studied about the height of the style in Primula plants. Some of the styles are very tall, some of the styles are very short, some of the styles are narrow. So three different height of style we have seen in the same kinds of Primula plants. So within the same species, within the same population, different types of plants are there, different types of flowering characters are there. This is called discontinuous variation. This is solely completely depend upon one or two genes, which will be determined by genetical character, not environmental factor. So this types of variation is also called as qualitative variation. The second type of variation is called continuous variation. Continuous variation is, it is a very good example. We can see the growth of living organisms, growth of plants, animals, even human being. If you see, you are being very small boy, at the time very small, and become very tall. This will be takes place gradually. It is not taken place within few seconds. So it is not sudden increase. It is not sudden change. This variation is immediately will not be happening. Gradually, step by step, gradually from one deep level to another deep level. one extreme level to the another level. Younger to adult. A gradual variations might be there. Gradual changes might be there. Skin color of human being is also another good example for continuous variations. So these will be determined by both genetics as well as environmental factors. So previous one only determined by genetics, but this one continuous variation is determined by both genetics as well as environmental factors. This is also called as qualitative variation. Right? Next we shall see about Mendelism. Now we shall see about Mendelism. What is Mendelism? The contribution which has been given by Gregor John Mendel to genetics is called as Mendelism. He has involved a lot of experiments, researches on pea plant about hybridization techniques, and he has submitted a lot of papers on this research about Mendelism. This is called as Mendelism. Who is Mendel? Gregor John Mendel. He is called as father of genetics. Gregor John Mendel is called as father of genetics. Why do we call him as a father of genetics? Because he was the first scientist. He explained about the genetics in detail. But he was not accepted very early. Due to a lot of struggle, he has success. Okay, just briefly we shall see about biography of Gregor John Mendel. Gregor John Mendel, born on 22nd July in 1822 in Eisendorf of Silesia in Austria. Now it is called as Czechoslovakia. In olden days it was called as Austria. Now it is called as Czechoslovakia. Then he has completed his school. After his schooling, then he entered in the University of Vienna. In Vienna University, he studied botany, physics, mathematics in very extra deep knowledge. He gathered an excellent background knowledge of this botany, maths, physics, and statistical analysis, because these are all the background which have been helping him to do his theory or principles of Mendel. It was very much success because of this background of studying in the University of Vienna. Then later on, he has moved towards a monastery is called as St. Thomas Monastery. Monastery means in Tamil, Thorovigar Madam. So he has become, he became a priest in that monastery. In the year 1849, he has a very good opportunity for a temporary position as a teacher, to work as a teacher in a school. Then he has explained the detail about the teaching methodology. By the meantime, he has started his studies on hybridization techniques in pea plant like Isam Satyavam in his garden in monastery. In the year 1856, he has perfectly talked about various types of hybridization techniques, especially in the period between 1856 to 1863. During this period is called as hybridization techniques of Gregor John Mendel in Isam Satyavam plants. It is a period which is changing a lot in genetics. As many as number of plants he has crossed, more than 24,034 plants have been crossed between these. And he has prepared a lot of data, and he has analysis on the background of mathematics and statistics analysis with physics background. Very thoroughly analyzed. Later on, he has submitted his papers and published. He has submitted the paper called Experiments on Plant Hybrids, was presented and published in Proceedings of the Bruns Society of Natural History in the year 1866. He was the first scientist to do a systematic study or research have been done in the field of genetics. That is why he was called as father of genetics. In this background, then he was begun very popularly introduced law of Mendel or principles of Mendelism. Still we are following almost all over the world about even the modern genetics. They are following on the basis of Gregor John Mendelism, principles of Mendelism. Why Mendel was success? He is not only explaining about the genetics on the basis of biological background, but also he has analysis with mathematical and statistical analysis. And the law of probabilities also have been used. His calculation is very perfect and accurate. He has collected number of samples. He has done number of experiments. Everything have been done in scientifically method. So scientific method he has used to do all these processes. And he has selected Pisum sativa plant, pea plant, because these are having 7 contrasting pair of characters. These contrasting pair of characters also have been helped him to do success. And he has analyzed and perfectly presented his theory and paper. Beautiful paper he has submitted. And initially it was not accepted. Later on, it was greatly successful. Why he has selected Pisum plant? Why he has selected pea plant? Because pea plant is annual plant. Within short span of period, the plant will be able to cross and can able to produce seeds. Once again, we can showing the seeds to produce new plant. New sapling can be formed. Another thing, these plants are having very beautiful contrasting characters. 7 contrasting characters are there. That's why he has selected this plant. And moreover, these plants are bisexual flower. Both androecium and gynoeciums are present in the same plant. And they used to do by themselves as a cross pollination. But Mendel has done both cross pollination as well as self pollination. But the plant is done by self pollination alone because it is bisexual flower. But he has done both self pollination as well as cross pollination. And the flower is very larger in size. That is why it is possible to do emasculation. What do you mean by emasculation? The removing of androecium is called as emasculation. The technique I shall tell you on the screen. So in such a way, the step-by-step method which will make him to success in the medical. When Mendel has started his experiments, there is no discovery of gene, there is no discovery of DNA, there is no discovery of chromosome. That is why he told that it is a determining factor, it is a transferring factor, this is a hereditary factor he named. So this is a particle nature which are present inside the plant or organisms which is transmitting the character. These particles are called as factors. He named it factors, but now it is called as gene. So this transferring of gene only made to transfer the characters from one generation to the other generation. That is why even the modern genetics is also following this process. I shall explain how he has done the cross pollination in Pisum sativa plant. We shall see in the screen. Dear students, this is pea plant which is having 2 different contrasting flowers. One is purple flower, this is white flower. So this is also pea plant, this is also pea plant. Both are producing different types of color, purple flower and white color flower. He has taken this purple flower as a male flower and white flower as female. But both are bisexual, both androecium and gynoeciums are also might be there. But he has done cross-pollination. How he has done? By emasculation. What is meant by emasculation? You see here, the removal of androecium is called as emasculation. So this is a bisexual flower, this is gynoecium, both androecium and gynoeciums are present, but he has removed this androecium. Then he is named it is a female flower because he removed androecium. Now white flower is considered as male flower. He has taken the pollen grain from this flower by touching the brush and just brushing on the stigma. After brushing on stigma, he bagged with polythene cover. Then what happened? The cross pollination. That means the pollen grain from white flower will be transferred to the stigma of this purple flower will be crossed. And finally, the fertilization might be takes place. Then the fruit have been formed. Inside the fruits, seeds have been produced. If the seeds are sown in the F1 generation, all the plants have been produced purple. There is a question. So this is called cross-pollination, which have been done by Gregor John Mendel. He has done the emasculation technique in such a manner. Here one question might be arises to you. Sir, here purple flower is there, white flower is also there. But while they are crossing with purple with white, why don't it is producing white flower? Why it is producing purple alone? That means in the F1 generation, which characteristic feature is formed? That character is dominance. So in this flower, recessive character genes or alleles are also present inside. But even though only the purple color is appeared, that means the purple color is dominant over this white color flower. That means purple color is dominant, white color flower is recessive. What is dominance? What is recessive? We shall discuss in detail. See here, when we cross a pure parent of male and female, then if you are getting F1 generation, then what is the characteristic features if you are obtaining F1 generation? F1 means first filial generation. So what is the characteristic features we are getting or obtained in the first filial generation? That character is dominant character. The other character is recessive character. Do you understand about what is dominance, what is recessive? Right. So in this background, you can keep in your mind about dominant and recessive. We shall discuss on about dominant and recessive later on. About various terminology have been used by Mendel. We shall discuss later on about this. Now, we shall see what are the 7 contrasting characters have been selected by Gregor John Mendel. So there are 7 contrasting characters. What do you mean by contrasting character? Completely opposite character. So within Pisum plant, within pea plant, in Tamil, Patani plant. So within pea plant, 7 contrasting characters. Contrasting means different character. For example, the length of the stem, if you consider, some of the plants are very tall, some of the plants are very dwarf. Dwarf means short. So both are Pisum plant only, both are pea plant only, but in the within the pea plant, some of the plants are very tall, some of the plants are dwarf. So this is dominant. Tall plants are dominant over dwarf plants. So this is dominant character, this is recessive character. So this is contrasting character. So length is one character, one tribe. Within this tribe, this is contrasting. Next one is pod shape. Pod means the fruit of pea plant. So some of the fruits are inflated. Inflated means fluffy. Another fruits are constricted. Constriction means rings. So 2 different types of fruits. So the pod shape itself, 2 contrasting character. One is inflated, another one is constricted. So inflated is dominant over constricted. So constricted is recessive character. Next one is seed shape. You might have seen the pea plant, pea seed. Some of the seeds are round shape. Some of the seeds are wrinkled. That means rings seeds. So these round seeds is dominant over wrinkled. Next one is seed color. Some of the seeds are yellow in color. Some of the seeds are green. Here yellow color is dominant over green color. Similarly, position of the flower. If the flowers are present at the tip or terminal position, or the flowers are present at the axil or axis, on the base of it depends upon the position of the flower. These are two contrasting characters: axial, terminal. Axial flower is dominant character. Terminal flower is recessive character. Next one is flower color, as we discussed earlier in the previous experiment. That is emasculation techniques. Purple is dominant over white color flower. Next one is pot color. Here pot shape, here pot color. Some of the pots are green in color, some of the pots are yellow in color. So green color pots are dominant over yellow. So these are 7 contrasting characters. These 7 contrasting characters are present in the pea plant. That is why he has selected pea plant for his experiment. So next, in this pea plant, this will be determined by various genes. So suppose plant height, tall, dwarf. The gene is LE. Next one is seed shape, round, wrinkle. The gene name is R. Next, cotyledon. That means seed color. Yellow, green. It is indicated by the gene I gene. Flower color, purple, white. It is indicated by A. That means capital A means purple, small a means white. Capital R means round, small r means wrinkle. In such a way, various. Similarly, pot color, GP, green, yellow. Pot form, inflated, constricted. It is dominant, this is recessive. So this is indicated by the gene B. Flower position, axial, terminal. Gene name, FE. So these are 7 contrasting characteristic features of Gregor John Mendel have been selected in pea plant. Okay children, on the base of it, how he has crossed these plant, Mendelian cross, we can see one by one. Actually, on the basis of this cross, he has given 3 important laws of inheritance or laws of genetics. This is also called as principles of genetics or principles of Mendelism. They are called as law of dominance. First law is law of dominance, law of segregation or law of purity, and third one is law of independent assortment. So he has produced as many types of crosses: monohybrid cross, dihybrid cross, trihybrid cross, and so on. We shall discuss in detail about how he has given this cross, about monohybrid cross, dihybrid cross, trihybrid cross in detail. We shall see. Before we are going to see about this cross, we should know about common terminology which have been used by Mendel. He has used gene, alleles, homozygous, heterozygous, homozygous dominance, homozygous recessive. In such a manner, various terminology he has used. You should understand about the terminology. Then only you can able to understand this class very easily. For example, Gregor John Mendel used true breeding. That means homozygous. What do you mean by homozygous? For example, he has crossed a tall plant. It is a tall pea plant. He is crossed with a dwarf. Dwarf means short plant. Both the plants are very pure. That means these tall plants is a character. It is a trait. Tall is a trait. Dwarf is a trait. Commonly we can call it as height as a trait. In this trait, tall is a character, dwarf is another character. Both are contrasting character. So this tall is determined by a gene is called capital T, capital T. This is a gene. The gene is consists of two allele. Capital T, one allele, another capital T, another allele. So two or more allele combined together to form a gene. So each and every plant must be consist of one or more or multiple genes might be there. Each and every genes determine various characteristic features, but it is a tallness. Tallness will be determined by a gene, capital T, capital T. Capital T, one allele, small t, one allele. Do you understand about what is gene, what is allele? So two alleles combine together to form the gene. Similarly, this is dwarf plant. This dwarf plant is also having another gene, dwarf gene, that is small t, small t. One small t, one allele, another small t, another allele. Two alleles combined together is forming recessive pure dwarf. This is dominant pure tall. So Gregor John Mendel, he has crossed a pure tall with pure dwarf. When he is crossed, we can get the gamete. It is not shown in this diagram. If it is homozygous, what is meant by homozygous? I shall explain about homozygous. Once I shall explain about the F1 generation, then I shall explain about what is homozygous and heterozygous. See here, it is pure tall crossed with pure dwarf. Then F1 generation, capital T, small t will be formed. That means here one gamete will be formed, here one gamete, because it is homozygous. In the homozygous, two capital T, for two capital T, only one capital T can be considered. Here two small t, we can take only one small t for it, because both are homozygous. Homozygous means both the alleles are same. Capital T, capital T. Both the alleles are same. Here small t, small t. Both alleles are same. That means this is dominant homozygous or homozygous dominance. This is homozygous recessive dwarf. Homozygous dominant the tall. So this is producing one capital T gamete. This is producing one small t gamete. Both, if you are crossing, capital T, small t will be formed in F1 generation. This is heterozygous. Why it is called as heterozygous? Because one capital T and another one is small t. This is different allele. Capital T another type of allele, small t another type of allele. Here both are same types of allele. These are also same type of allele. If it is same types of allele, these are called as homozygous. If it is same types of allele, these are also called as homozygous. But it is having two different types of allele, hence it is called as heterozygous. So F1 generation, capital T, small t, but this is also tall. Because capital T is dominant, in F1 generation, we can see only dominant character. That means all are tall only. But even though small t is also there, even though small t gene is present inside in F1 generation, it is not visible. Only tall characteristic features is visible. So this is called as dominant character. So what is a characteristic feature is appear in the F1 generation. This is called as dominant character, which is not appear from the parent. That is called as recessive. Do you understand? Now we have understood about what is gene, what is allele, what is homozygous, what is heterozygous, what is dominant, what is recessive. So these are all the terminology should be need to understand about all Mendelian classes. If you know about Mendelian classes, then only you can understand about Mendelian law. There are three laws as I said just now. Law of dominance, law of segregation, law of independent assortment. The first two laws, law of dominance and law of segregation, which will be studied by even monohybrid class. But law of independent assortment can be studied only in dihybrid and trihybrid class only. Now we cannot be able to see in monohybrid class. First of all, we can able to understand about monohybrid class, then we can go through the first two laws. See here. So this is a parent. Just now I told you, once again I shall explain. This is a tall, pure tall, that means homozygous tall. That means capital T is a homozygous tall. That is nothing but true breeding or pure breeding. Another one is dwarf. It is homozygous recessive dwarf. If these two parents are crossed, this is parent generation, which will be having a gamete. The gamete is not available here. This is homozygous, only one T, capital T. We can draw here. Here only we have homozygous small t, only one small t we can take. These are gamete. This is capital T, this is small t. This is capital T, this is small t. This one parent, this one parent. If it is crossed, then what happens? Capital T, small t, capital T, small t, capital T, small t. All are capital T, small t. Tall only form. So in the F1 generation, all are tall. But this is heterozygous tall. This is homozygous tall. Because both are same. This is different. That is why it is called as heterozygous tall. Now we got F1 generation. Then in the F1 generation, if you make a cell class, what do you mean by cell class? Capital T, small t is a heterozygous tall. If it is crossed with capital T, small t, that is also heterozygous tall. What is formed in the F1 generation? If we cross with the same, then this is called cell class. Then if we cross cell class, then we can get, see here, in the F2 generation, the capital T, small t, here capital is not visible here. For capital T, small t, capital T, small t, this one male parent, this one female parent, imagine. This capital T will be producing one gamete, capital T. This small t will produce another gamete. There are two gametes will be formed for male parent. Similarly, female parent, one capital T for female parent, one small t for another female parent. In such a way, for male parent two gamete, female parent two gamete. See here, this is male gamete, this is female gamete. It is not shown in. See here, this is male parent, this is female parent. This male parent one capital T gamete, one small t gamete. The female parent is having one capital T gamete. This is small t gamete. This is called Punnet's plan. Reginald Punnet, one great scientist, is one of the genetics. He has given this checkerboard. That is why he is named after him. Okay, come to the point. This capital T joined together, capital T, homozygous tall. Next, this capital T, this small t crossed together, capital T, small t, heterozygous tall parent, line. Then, this capital T, this small t, capital T, small t, heterozygous tall parent. Then, this small t, crossed together, small t, homozygous dwarf plant. So, there are 3 tall plant, 1 dwarf plant will be produced. So, according to Gregor John Mendel, he has used 1064 plants. Out of, he has produced 1064 plants in the F2 generation. Out of these 1064 plants produced in the F2 generation, 787 plants are tall, 277 plants are dwarf. That means 3:1 ratio. So this ratio is called phenotypic ratio. What do you mean by phenotypic? How they are appear. These are appearing like a tall, these are appearing like dwarf. So the morphological appearance which shows which type of character, that is called phenotypic ratio. So 3:1 ratio is phenotypic ratio. Then another ratio is a genotypic ratio. What do you mean by genotypic ratio? On the genetical components of this ratio. For example, homozygous tall, capital T, only 1. Then capital T, small t, 2. That means heterozygous tall. Homozygous tall, 1. Heterozygous tall, 2. Homozygous dwarf, 1. That means 1:2, 2:1. So this is called genotypic ratio. So phenotypic ratio is tall is to dwarf, 3:1. Then genotypic ratio is homozygous tall 1, heterozygous tall 2, and homozygous dwarf is 1. So this is the F2 generation is having genotypic and phenotypic ratio of Gregor John Mendel. That's all about monohybrid cross. So on the basis of this monohybrid cross, I shall explain about Mendelian law, dominant law as well as recessive, law of segregation. See here, first of all, what is dominant law? Dominant law is nothing but when pure tall is crossed with when pure dwarf, in F1 generation we will get only tall. It may be heterozygous, but it is tall. That means one of the parent may be obtained in the F1 generation. Which characteristic features are found in the F1 generation? This is called dominance. That means tall is dominance, and the other character, that means dwarf is recessive. This is called law of dominance. Are you clear? So this is first law. Second law is nothing but law of segregation. Okay. In the F1 generation, one capital T, one small t. But even though it is having dwarf gene like small t, but it is appear only tall, because the tall is dominant, but small t is also available. But this same character can be appear in F2 generation. In the F2 generation, homozygous dwarf is formed. That means it is hide in F1 generation, but it's reappear in the F2 generation. Now what I am going to say is law of segregation. Law of segregation means even though capital T, small t, that is dominant and recessive alleles are combined together in a same gene, they will not blend, they will not mix together. When the formation of gamete in the F2 generation, capital T separated, small t separated individually. This is called law of segregation. So previous one is called law of dominance. Now this law is called law of segregation. What do you mean by law of segregation? In the F1 generation, capital T, small t, two alleles are, one is for male, one is for dominant, another one is for recessive. Even though they are combined together, they will not blend together. They will be being as it is. But when the gametes are formed in the F2 generation, they will be segregated individually. That means capital T separately and small t separately. So this is called law of segregation or law of purity. Of explain about reciprocal cross. What do you mean by reciprocal cross? Suppose tall plant is male plant here, dwarf plant is female plant here. A tall male plant is crossed with female dwarf plant, then F1 generation is tall. Suppose if we exchange male as female, female as male, that means earlier we have seen this is male, this is female. Now a female tall plant, if it is crossed with male dwarf plant, we will get same tall plant only. This is the final resolution have been found by great John Mendel. So even though the reciprocal cross, that means if we exchange the male and female parent, there is no effect in the result. F1 generation result will be same. That means the same dominant character will be appear in F1 generation. So this is called as reciprocal cross. Now we are going to discuss about test cross and back cross. What is mean by test cross? Test cross is nothing but about test cross. What is mean by test cross? Test cross is nothing but any unknown genetical character if it is crossed with homozygous dwarf. Homozygous means both are same but recessive character. If you cross with homozygous recessive character with anyone, the resultant result will be called as test cross. For example, this is heterozygous tall, that means capital T, small t, it is heterozygous tall. Heterozygous tall or any types of gene, if it is crossed with homozygous recessive character, the dwarf is homozygous recessive, that is small t, then we can get what is the character. For example, in the heterozygous tall we can get one capital T gamete, one small t gamete. Here homozygous recessive, only one enough, but it is given to no problem, two male gametes, small t gametes. Then you can cross capital T, small t, small t, small t. So one heterozygous tall, one homozygous dwarf will be formed in 1:1 ratio. So this is a test cross of heterozygous tall with homozygous dwarf. So this is the result of test cross. Suppose, as I said just now, any homozygous recessive character you can cross with any types of gene. What is the result is obtained? That is called test cross. For example, instead of heterozygous tall, we shall use homozygous tall. For example, see here. In the second class, we are using homozygous tall with, but here the condition same. What? Homozygous recessive. So, if you cross with homozygous recessive with any genetic character, then this is the result is called test cross. For example, here homozygous. Here capital T one gamete, capital T one gamete, small t one gamete, small t one gamete. If you cross capital T small t, all are capital T small t tall, 1:1 ratio. All are heterozygous tall only we can get. So this is called test cross. Then we are going to see about back cross. What is meant by back cross? Back cross are nothing but any F1 generation. For example, so this is a tall plant, this is dwarf plant, this is homozygous tall, this is homozygous dwarf. If you cross, we will get F1 generation. All are heterozygous. So this the F1 generation is crossed with any one of the parent. If you cross F1 generation with any one of the parent, then this is called back cross. What is the differences between back cross and test cross? Any parent or any gene, if it is crossed with homozygous recessive parent, the resultant entity will be formed is called test cross. Then what is back cross? If you cross F1 generation with any one of the parent, then this is called as back cross. There are two types of back cross. One is dominant back cross, another one is recessive back cross. What is meant by dominant back cross? That means F1 is crossed with homozygous tall, then the resultant will be called as dominant back cross. If you cross F1 generation with the recessive homozygous recessive parent, then this is called recessive back cross.